In this video, I'm going to be telling you how to stay focused and consistent and stop being lazy. Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alexis and I'm back with another video. Oh my god, y'all showed me so much love on my previous one. You guys enjoyed it. Almost hitting 3,000 views. What? And we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Guys, thank you so much. What? I'm so happy. Thank you so much. And in today's video, I'm here to give you my cheat code to consistency, because for the past 6 months I've been so consistent and it's still so shocking so many people around me, because Alexis and consistency could never be in the same sentence. And right now I feel like I can do so many things because I've built a habit loop where my brain just automatically gets it, and I want you guys to get into it. Consistency is not something you're born with, that some people actually have it, they're born with it, some people are lucky. Consistency is a skill. Every person you see that is consistent, they have trained themselves to be consistent. They were not born consistent. They trained themselves, they built habits, and they kept practicing these habits every single day, hence being consistent. Even the most successful people that we look up to, that we aspire to be, are consistent. Yes, favor comes into play, but you need to be consistent with the things that you have to show up every single day. I was personally tired of the kind of life I was living. 6 months ago, guys, you would never put Alexis and consistency in the same sentence. Never. If I tell you guys how I was living my life in 2023, it's like, I keep talking about this with my friends. Like in 2023, it's like I was waiting for a miracle to happen so that my life can change. In 2023, I never thought I would do anything from saving money. For some reason, I thought God is going to send a miracle and I'll become rich. Like I was just living my life on prayer, because I've always been a prayerful person. And I wish people knew manifesting, prayer, etc. don't work if you don't put in the work. I can't believe there's a time where my business would go a whole week with no sale. There's a time where, you guys, I'll just wake up at 1 p.m. and just, believe that God is going to bring food on my table. God is going to provide every single thing while I do what? I sleep. Even the Bible talks about it in Genesis. You have to work for you to eat. You have to put in the work for you to get whatever you want to achieve. You have to work for it. I remember you guys who follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you saw me start that series, my glow up series, to glow up in my finances, my work ethics, my business, my spiritual life, every single thing. I didn't even wait for January. I decided earlier that I was tired of how I was living. I started waking up at 5 a.m. I started reading books. The 2 books that have actually changed my life and have taught me how to be consistent are these 2 books. I would urge you to go and read them. I would do a vision board, print it out, put it in my house, and by February, I'm off track. I'm back to my ugly habits. We all have vision boards that we set every beginning of the year, but as soon as it clocks media, or there are people right now, we're in May, they don't care. They gave up on their goals. I hope you are not one of those people. I am not one of those people. I have actually ticked off so many goals so far, guys. So many goals. Yet we are just in 5 months. Let me tell you something. This has never happened my entire life. This is the first time I'm actually sitting down and I'm like, I set these goals for the first 6 months of the year and I'm ticking off so many of them. It has never happened, and I think I know why, and I'm gonna tell you. Let's get into it. So first of all, you need to know your why. Why do you want to be consistent? I remember last year when I decided I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I remember I created a group, had the ladies join in. I was waking up at 5 a.m. I was following our routine, but I didn't even know why. I didn't know why I wanted to. Okay, I knew I was tired of waking up late, but I didn't have an actual goal. Like, I didn't have actual goals. Leave the goals that we write at the beginning of the year. I didn't have an actual why like I do now. I actually fell off that 5 a.m. thing and I was back to my normal routine, my old routine. So this year when I sat down and I understood what I want by the end of 2025, the kind of Alexis I want to be, why do I have to be consistent? You need to ask yourself that question. Why do you want to be consistent? Let's assume for me, one of my goals was to gain 50,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok before the year ends. You have your why, you have to post consistently. Yeah, when you have the why, it's easy for you to stay on track. Even on bad days when you don't have that motivation, you will remember why you are doing this. Okay, I need 50K. Where am I now? Right now I'm at 10K. You will get back. So you need to understand why. Okay, you want to have a particular body by the end of 2025. So every time you slack off your gym days, you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, oh my God, I want a flat tummy. I need to get up and go to the gym. So you need to get your book and write down, why do you want to stay consistent? Have that why broadly out written. Write it down in big letters and put it somewhere like, this is, envision yourself and be like, this is the kind of woman I want to be by the end of 2025. That way you are going to stay consistent. You're going, even on days when you don't feel like it, because you keep looking at your why and you're like, oh my God, this is who I want to be at the end of this year. I need to wake up even when I don't feel like it. Because let me break it to you. Motivation, passion, they are not enough. I'll tell you this. There are days when you will not have motivation, but you need to wake up and go to the gym. You need to wake up and go to work. Let's assume you have a 9 to 5. Even on days when you don't feel like going to work, you will go to work. Why? Because you will be fired if you don't show up. Now imagine for you who is self-employed, all you have is passion for making lip glosses. There are days when that passion won't be there. I'm telling you from experience. There are days when I don't feel like showing up for Evel Beauty, but I have to because I know where I want this brand to be by the end of 2025. I look at my vision and I'm like, Alexis, this is what you want before the year ends. When you are sleeping, get up, create content and post. So that is why you need a reason to be consistent. That way you will show up even when you're less motivated. You will show up even when you don't feel like it. Number 2, you need to build a habit loop if you want to stay consistent. I learned that from this book. It has 4 things: the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. Allow me explain them because I know you must be confused. In this case, I'm going to explain it in the social media addiction sense. Let's assume you're home in your bed or you're just at work bored. So that is the cue. That boredom triggers a craving. You crave your phone. You get your phone. So the craving is you longing for your phone. Then your response is going to scroll on TikTok. And that dopamine that you feel, the satisfaction that you feel when you scroll and scroll and scroll, is the reward that you get. So your brain crams it that every time we are bored, we are just there and we have nothing to do, we crave to scroll on TikTok, and that way we get that temporary satisfaction. That is how you can also build a good habit. Our brains are wired like that. It's like how you are there and you see darkness. The moment you see darkness, that's a cue. It craves light. So your response is to go and switch on the light. Yeah, so the lighting that you receive to be able to see is the reward. So that is something that you cram. You're not born knowing that. You teach your brain from how you react to darkness. Let's assume someone doesn't even know about this. They stay somewhere far from they stay in a remote area and they don't know the electricity and how it works. They'll come here and their reaction could be different. Could be asking for a candle, yeah, or a torch. Yeah, so our brains are wired like that. Like you do something so many times in a loop and then you get used to it. That is why we can all stay in the same house and have different habits when we wake up in the morning. Some people will eat and leave the plate where they were eating from, and then some will get the plate and put it in the sink, and then some will get the plate, take off the excess food, and then put it in the sink, and then some will get the plate, take off the excess food, wash the plate, and put it in the cupboard. We are all different in that sense because we have different habits that we are used to. I hope you guys have understood the whole cue, curve, response, reward thing. If you haven't, please go and read this book. He explains it so well, and it's so funny because that is how our brains are wired. How do you use that habit loop to train your mind to have the same habits every single day? So how are you going to replace a bad habit with a good habit using a habit loop? In this case, we're talking about being addicted to social media. Instead of scrolling, because every time you're there bored and idle, you feel like, oh my God, I need to do something. You long for your phone. So instead of doing that, you could just replace that with, let's say, listening to a podcast or an audiobook or something that helps you learn something new. So in this case, let's say you could take a walk, because listening to the podcast might also be boring to you. You could doze off, or you could still want to touch your phone and scroll. So you could take a walk, an evening walk. Instead of taking the evening walk while you still scroll, you could use your headphones to listen to an audiobook or listen to a sermon or a podcast. Trust me, the reward is way more satisfying than just scrolling on your phone. But remember, you have to keep doing it so many times so that your brain gets to learn to do it automatically. Every time you feel bored, instead of scrolling on your phone, you will learn to listen to a podcast. You will learn to listen to an audiobook. It has worked for me. I know it can work for you. So now that we've all understood the habit loop, we need to create a routine or a schedule to follow. You cannot just be consistent you need a how. How are you going to stay consistent? Get a book and schedule your life. Plan your life. How are we going to be consistent? So I know we all sit down at the beginning of the year in January and make our vision board. That's okay, but most of those goals are unrealistic. And me personally, this is what I did this year. I have never done it in my entire life, but I did it this year because of this book, these books that I've been reading. I sat down and set my goals for the year. That A, I want a car. B, I want ABCD. Like all the goals that I wanted this year, including the masterclass that I did recently. I did a vision board. Then after that, I sat down with myself and said, every beginning of the month, I'll be setting monthly goals. So, yes, I want a car, I want a house, I want a ABCD in this 2025. What do I want in January? Which goal am I achieving in January? Sit down and set goals for January. When January is over, tick off which goals did I achieve in January. Tick all. Of course, you cannot achieve all of them. If you do, oh, thank you. Thank God you have. If you haven't, which is okay. But the only problem is you finishing January without even one goal being ticked off. For me, waking up at 5 a.m. every single day, that was one of my January goals. And at the end of the month, I ticked it off. So one of my main goals was to have particular brand deals, to work for certain brands as an influencer, to be able to wake up at 5 a.m., to save 100,000 every single day. Like, you need to have goals. Money goals and be like, at the end of this month, I should have this amount of money saved on my account. At the end of the month, if you check, and let's say you wanted to save 1 million at the end of the month, but then the month has ended and you have 800,000. Oh my God, that is so good. Tick it off. Then carry the goals that you did not achieve in May, carry them in June, and then add on June goals. So start with the goals that you didn't achieve in May, make sure you achieve them, and then also achieve June goals. How do we achieve monthly goals? By setting weekly goals. A month has how many weeks? 4. Let's say you set 4 goals for May. Make sure every week you tick off one goal. Yeah, so if you decided to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, at the end of the week, how many days were you able to wake up at 5 a.m.? You need to reward yourself at the end of the day. That is how you're going to be able to plan your entire life. You cannot plan your entire life with just a vision board. You need to break down those goals into small goals that are realistic and that are going to make you feel like, oh my God, this is achievable. Because also your mindset, we will come to that, but also that your mind knowing that, oh my God, these goals are achievable will help you achieve them. But if you just have a vision board there with, let's say, a Wrangler or a Brabus for my case, because that's my dream car, with a very huge house, with whatever goals that you have that are just on a vision board and you're just looking at them, like, they will look so big. Like, I look at a Brabus and I'm like, that can be my first car. Like, it's so big, it's so huge, it's so expensive. Just maintaining it is so expensive. So obviously that would be so huge for me. But then when I sit down and I plan and I break down my goals too, I could get my first car, which is, a simple car that costs, let's say, 30 million or 20 million. That could be easy for me to look forward to. So you need to break down your goals to monthly achievable goals and go down to those 4 weeks that are in a month and plan every week so that it's easier for your brain to cope. So literally 6 months ago when I sat down, I remember I talked about this on my stories. I plan every month down to every week. So tomorrow we are starting a new week and I'm going to sit down and plan my new week. What do I need to achieve this week? How much money do I need to make for Evel Beauty at the end of this week? How many, if you want to lose weight, how many kgs do you want to lose by the end of this week? Yeah. How many days you want to show up at the gym? Every single day that you show up at the gym, check it off. How many liters of water do you want to drink by the end of the day? So different small goals that you can achieve in a week can help you. So don't look at achieving big things. Look at achieving small things little by little, which will compile into big goals. So we've seen the why. Now we've seen the how we are going to be consistent. The next one is change your mindset. Stop thinking the most ridiculous things about yourself. If you keep saying to yourself, I know people that actually say these things. I can never, even I was a victim of those things. I used to say I would never wake up at 5 a.m. For some reason, I used to think I can never wake up at 5 a.m. And these are things that keep you in a certain situation. You keep thinking, oh, I would never. You keep saying these things. You always say, I'm broke. You keep telling yourself, oh, I can never lift such weights in the gym. I'm just weak. I'm just lazy. First of all, our brains don't know when to separate what's good and bad. Your brain does not know what is right or wrong. If you keep saying you are broke, your brain automatically thinks, oh my God, we are broke. So that is how you're always going to be, broke. Make sure whatever you say upon your life, whatever you manifest upon your life is just positive. You want to be successful, you want to be rich, you want to wake up at 5 a.m., you want to have a beautiful life, you want to be happy. You always have to say such things about yourself. Only the good. And all that starts from here. And then it comes out from here. So if your mind believes you are rich, you always say you are rich. And trust me, you will never lie. The next one is please get rid of all the distractions. Whatever is keeping you away from achieving those goals, from staying consistent, cut it out. If you know you are always drinking Monday to Monday, and it's the reason you cannot wake up at 5 a.m. to chase your dreams, you may not automatically stop, because I know for sure people who are so used to drinking every single day, it's so hard to just wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm done. But cut it down. Decide that I'll only drink over the weekends. Like I said earlier, that reward, if that reward is a negative thing keeping you away from your dreams, make it an attractive. I'll give an example. Me sleeping was the distraction. I love to sleep. Even up to now, I struggle with it, by the way. And you see what I just did there? I mentioned I love to sleep. The more I keep saying it, the more I even feel sleepy. You need to be careful what you say, what you think. So I understood that sleeping is the reason I'm stuck where I'm stuck. And that is why I'm so lazy, because the more you stay in bed, the more your body feels weak. So I made my bed unattractive. How? When it's always laid. So I make sure I wake up, the first thing I do is lay my bed. So when I say laid, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to mess it up. Before, you guys, I would never lay my bed because I want it to be ready when I feel ready to sleep. The moment I feel sleepy, I can easily enter into my bed. But now, because I lay it all the time, I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, it's just midday. So if I sleep into it, now I'm going to wake up and then I want to lay it again. So those are some of the things I've done to make my cue, the thing that makes me crave sleep. And you have to make the things, the cue, which is the trigger that makes you crave sleeping, unattractive. And for me, that is how I do it. That is how I keep myself from being lazy. The other thing that is going to help you stay consistent is if you track your progress. Like I mentioned earlier, when you write down these things and write down your weekly goals, you plan your week. At the end of the week, you are able to tick off. If, let's say, one of your goals for the week was to walk 40,000 steps, and you tick it off at the end of the week and celebrate, because that is a win. So if you don't achieve a goal, you have to punish yourself. So whatever you love to reward yourself with, deny yourself that same thing when you don't achieve the goals. And if you achieve the goals, make sure you also reward yourself with probably chocolates or celebrate it. Make sure you even post. If you're a content creator and let's say I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers. That might be a small thing to someone, but for me, it has taken me 2 years. So I'm going to celebrate it. That way I'll work harder to achieve 2,000 subscribers. So you need to celebrate your wins at all costs. You're able to track what you didn't achieve, and it also motivates you. And lastly, discipline over motivation. Like I said earlier, motivation, passion are not enough. But recently I learned that execution will give you motivation. Let me give an example. You going to the gym every single day, and at the end of the month you weigh yourself, or you look at yourself and you see that your body is getting the gains, the booty is booting, the abs are coming out, you will be motivated to work out more. But guess what? If you don't go to the gym and don't do anything at all, where is the motivation going? Yes, you will be able to watch the podcasts and etc. and get the motivation, see people on social media and they'll give you motivation. But the thing about motivation, it comes and goes. There are days when you'll not feel like going to the gym. There are days when, personally, like recently, other week before I went to Lemala, I was so demotivated. I had burnout. I was done. Like, I just wanted to lay in bed and rest. And it's okay. When those days come, it's okay. Take the break. I took the week off. I was still showing up on social media, but not as much as I always do. I think I posted once, but I wasn't motivated. It's okay. Take the break and come back as soon as possible. The problem is if you feel demotivated and then take a break for weeks, for months, forever, that's where the problem is. So sometimes you need to put in the work, and then you'll be motivated to do more. Because sometimes motivation from other people is not enough. Sometimes you need to motivate yourself. If that's what it takes, then you need to put in the work. You need to wake up every single day and show up. So that when you look back at the content that you posted, look at the achievements you attained. I look back at January and February and look in my journal and oh my God, I ticked off all these goals. I could do the same for May. I could do the same for June. I could do the same for the rest of the year. So sometimes you need to execute to be able to get motivation. And that's it, my loves. That is how you're going to stay focused and consistent. That is how you're going to break the laziness. Remember, consistency builds habits and habits build consistency. Wake up every day and show up for yourself, and remember, why you started, remember why you are showing up and why you are being consistent. That is how you build motivation. That is how you'll be able to stay on track. I hope you guys loved this video. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know if you have any topics that you would love me to share. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, comment. Let me know what habits you're trying to build. Let me know how you're able to stay consistent. Let me know, share some tips in the comments. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Mwah.